I'm back, and I made a few little modifications to what I'd done so far. Just got rid of the black borders on my squares and made a bunch of squares that will be easy for me to drag into place. So with a little puzzle like this, you can kind of just start looking at things to see where you can figure things out. With a bigger puzzle, it's good to go more systematically. So I will show you that process even though this one's little. So I'm just going to go one column at a time and see if there's anything I can figure out. So this 6, I don't know for sure where it is, just that it overlaps in the middle. 8, I don't know for sure where it is, just that it overlaps in the middle. The next one, I'm supposed to have a 2 followed by a 6. So the 6 could be from here downward, or it could be anything that includes those two. Now here's the trick. We have to at least have 2 blocks somewhere with a space at some point separating those 2 blocks from our 6. So the 2 could be here with a spacer here and the 6 here. Or the 2 could be here with a spacer here and the 6 here. Or the 6 could honestly not go clear to the bottom. It could go up to this point with a space and a 2 there. There's not really a lot we can do with that other than that does tell us that we for sure know the 6 has to be part of this too. And the 6 either has to go from the bottom up, or it might start here and go down. Regardless, the 6 has to include a few more spaces than what we actually have filled in right now. So we can actually take our 6 and make it at least 5. And the reason we can't do more than that is because we don't know if it's going to go here or here. And then we don't know exactly where the 2 is going to be, but we know that the 2 has to at least cover up that space right there in order for there to be room for the 6. So it's either going to be 1, 2, oops, just trying to move that square and I moved my whole screen, forgive me. So the 2 can either be 1, 2 or 1, 2. It has to cover up that space. We just don't know whether it's going to be here or here. So we can't actually put any blank dots in here, but we have filled in a little more information. With our 1, 5, the 1 is going to have to go up here somewhere, but because we put a filler dot on this row when we finished it, we know that there's no color in that space right there. So in order for the 5 to be completed, we have to actually start at this one and go down. We absolutely know where that 5 is at this point. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the 5, even though we don't know the 1. Then if you want to, instead of checking off that you've done that whole row, you could just do some sort of little check to tell yourself, you know what, that 5 is finished. You could do that instead of what I did over here, where you're just actually putting a check mark on every block that is completely done. So that one's not working so well. Let me do that fresh from here. So those are both done along with that. So those 2 rows are completely done. This column is not completely done. The 5 is done, but the 1 is not. Okay, next. We have a 1, a 2, a 2, and a 1. Well, right now we know the first one, because notice they're in order. That one is finished, so there has to be a space there. We don't know where the next 2 is. It's possible that it's here. We don't know for sure where the next 2 is. But we know that that one at the bottom has to be the one that's already at the bottom, and there has to be a space here. Now, even though I wasn't entirely sure when I started talking about this column if we could figure the whole thing out or not, I have since decided that we can. First of all, I can check off my 1s because they are finished. And second, I have a space that's only big enough for 2, and I need a 2. And then down here, I need another 2, and right now I already have 1. There's not space for 2 2s down here. There's only space for 1 2. And it started here, and it can't go up, so it has to go down. So that means that this space right here has to be empty. And our 2s are here, and finish that off for that. And that column is now finished. We have a 1, a space, a 2, a space, another 2, 2 spaces, just because it works out that way. We don't know how big the spaces are until we get them filled in. And then a 1. So that column is completely finished, and I've got dots in all my spaces and color in all of my blocks of color. So now I can go through and do that with the next column. I have a 1, it's already there. I need a 2, probably has to go right there. I need another 2, it probably has to go right there. And then I have a 1 that's already filled in. Pretty sure this one's just going to be a copycat of the last one because that's the only place it can go. So fill those blocks in here. And then I'm going to need one. Oh, that one has my border on it. I'll just grab one of these. And fill that one in there. Okay. Don't forget to check off my progress because it just makes me keep track of what I'm doing. So I started at the first column, couldn't do anything, did a little bit, finished. Moving on to this one, I need a 1 and a 4. Well, right now we already have a 1 at the bottom, but we need that one at the bottom to be a 4, and the only direction it can go is up. So I think I found my 4. I'm going to go ahead and fill that in. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I don't know exactly where the 1 is going to be. It's just going to have to fill in one of these spaces somewhere. So all I'm going to check off at this point is that 4. Okay, then the next column I need a 2 and a 2. I'm guessing one of the 2's is going to be here, one's going to be here, but I have no idea where. Same with this one. And all I know about the 6 is that it could be the top 6, it could be the bottom 6, or it could be somewhere in the middle, and so these 2 are the only ones I know for sure that are filled in. Okay, I've gone through all of the columns and done everything I can do at this point. I'll be able to do more later. So now we go back to the rows. Can't figure anything else out with that 6. I need 2 2s. I know they're not going to be there, but I don't know if it's going to be here or here. I think I do know, though, pretty confidently that there will be an empty space here because that first 2 is either going to be here or here. And then the second 2 is going to have to be over here somewhere, and we don't know yet where. Okay, then I have a group of 3 2s. I need a 2, which that's going to be part of. It can either be these 2 or these 2, but not that one. And then I need another group of 2. It's already there. Just start and end it with spaces and check it off. And then I need a third 2, and I don't know exactly where that third 2 is going to go, but I do know that there's only space here for the 2 to go here or there. So that middle one has to have color in it. Not finished, but got me some information there. Okay, next I need a 2, and a 1. So for my 2, 2, and 1, I've already got 1 here. It can either be 1, 2 or 1, 2, but I know it can't be there. So again, just kind of like the row I just did, I'm going to fill a dot there. Then I need another 2 already there, put a dot after it so that 2 is complete and check it off. And then I need a 1, and I don't know exactly where that 1's going to go, and there's not going to be any overlap when it's 1. So it could be there or there or there. We don't know. We're just going to leave that blank for now. We already did these 2 rows. Let's go to this row. We're supposed to have a 7 and a 1. Let's count what we have so far just from doing other things. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We need 7. It could either go here or it could go there. We don't know yet which one it will be. And then we need a 1 over here somewhere, and we don't know whether it will be here or here. So we really can't mark anything right now because we don't know enough. Next row, we're supposed to have a 4, a 1, and a 2. Well, look right here, we've already got 3, and we've got a filled in dot space there. So in order to fit that 4 is going to have to go from the beginning right there. There's no other choice, no other place for it to go. So the 4 is done. And the next thing we need is a 1. Well, we've already got a 1 right here, so just block off a space after it. Our 1 is done. Now look, there's only 2 spaces left. That means the 2 has to go in the 2 space that's left. There's no other choice in the matter. That is guaranteed. We have another column that's finished. Okay, next, another row that's finished. Forgive me, I said column. Okay, the next row is supposed to be a 3 and a 3. Well, right now we have a 2, but we have these spaces blocked off. So the only other place that it can go to make a 3 is if we do one more space to the left, right here, and then that will be empty. And then we have these two filled in, but we have one here. That's going to have to be our other 3. So that means that we're going to have color here, and we're going to have color right here. And then that first and last space will be spaces, and we are finished with that one. Well, look at this one. When we originally did this, we just colored in the 2 in the middle. Now we have 4 out of our 6 done. We still don't know exactly where it's going to be, but we do know it's going to include these 4, and then either 5 and 6 this direction, or it'll be these 4 and either 5 or 6 this direction. So we can actually space off these last points because it's not going to fit there. Okay, we went through all of the rows. We're going to go back and look at all of the columns again. Back when I did this row right here, I put a dot here because my 2 would either go here or here. That tells me for this 6th column that I must put my 6 from here to here, because that's exactly 6 spaces. There's nowhere else for it to go because of that dot and those dots. That's where it's going to be. So now I can fill that row column in right there. All right, look, I got another one all done. This is coming together nicely, and I know I've got a dot right here. My video is super long, so I feel like maybe I should stop and do a third one.